Well, I play ball every single fall. I can run just like the wind. I went to college like they asked me to, but they didn't ask my friends. Don't think I sing a single class, but I drank a lot of beer. My buddies still love to listen to me when I talk about that year. So I'll see you in Houston if I ever get out that way. I'll see you in Dallas, but I won't have long to stay. If you're ever out west, son, and you feeling like slowing down, I'll see you around my hometown. Rest in peace, Charlie Robinson. Man, it's such a shame we lost Charlie Robinson. It took a big blow to the Red Dirt, Texas music scene. He was just coming out of retirement. He was starting to play shows again, and sadly, we lost him on September 10th, a couple days ago, to cardiac arrest, is what they're saying now. I don't know if that's what I've heard. But today, this is all about Charlie, or this video. And I have my Charlie Robinson hat. He signed it. When I first started getting into Red Dirt, Texas, Red Dirt, whatever you want to call it, he was one of the first. There was Ragweed, there was Jason Bowen and the Stragglers, Reckless Kelly, Mickey and the Motor Cars, Charlie Robinson. And, but Charlie, he lived, it was born on September 1st in Houston, I think 59 years ago. And like I said, he sadly passed away a couple days ago. He's got a brother, Bruce Robinson, that writes and sings, and also a sister, Robin Ludwig. She writes and sings too. Sorry. But I think the first time I remember hearing Charlie Robinson was, I had a few buddies back in '07 or something like that. I don't remember. No, I think it was actually before that, because I was still in high school. And it was before Good Times had come out. It was the live album from Green Hall, which I did not know how to pronounce back then. Because like I said, back that probably would have been 2005 or 6. No, it would have been 4 or 5 maybe, if that. No, but probably about 2003 then. Because, like I said, Good Times hadn't even came out yet. That was even... And I still think Good Times was one of the best albums ever recorded to this day. Not only Texas music or country, but any genre. There's not a bad song on that banger. That album is a banger. They're all kick-ass songs. From Good Times to El Cerrito Plays to The Bottom to, the rest of the album. But anyways, like I said, the first song that I ever heard, I'm pretty sure the first one I ever heard him do, was we were riding around one night, me and a couple buddies of mine. We might have been at drinking beer by a campfire, I can't remember. But someone had turned on Charlie Robinson's Live from Green Hall, and it was Tonight, the song Tonight, which Bruce Robinson actually wrote, and Charlie did it live. And what I remember about that, I didn't know really much about live music, and because like I said, I was just starting to get into the whole Red Dirt thing. I mean, I was wet behind the ears with the Red Dirt Texas music scene. And I remember them talking about growing up, and baling hay for a living. But what caught my attention that night was he mentioned Schaefer Light beer. And the funny thing is, that's what my dad drank years ago. And so that kind of I always loved that song. And then Good Times came out, and everybody was excited about that. But the one song, and I still regret that I have to say this, but to be honest, I hated El Cerrito Place at first. Because I didn't, like I said, I was just getting into that type of music. I was more into like the 90s country, like Nashville based, and Creed and pop. And, I really sat and gotten into that songwriting and country and sad songs, it was all still new to me. But I eventually came around, and it's actually my favorite song that Charlie did. Either that or The Bottom, I think. That's a good song, too. There are so many good songs that man came out with. El Cerrito Place, The Bottom, Sunset Boulevard, New Year's Day. I mean, the list just goes on and on. And the sad part is, this highest chart topper was, let me look. I looked it up a while ago. I Want You Bad, which was, I think, 2001, which I think was off the Step Right Up album. Life of the Party, that's a good song. But I mean, just, one thing is, he was a life of the party, and I was fortunate enough to meet him a few times. The first time I got to meet Charlie, there was a band, an Arkansas band called Willie Stradlin. They're not, I don't think they're still around anymore. Anyway, they may have a different name, but anyways, and the first time I seen them, Willie Stradlin put on like a little fair in the summers. Not really a fair, but like a little concert series in the summer. And there was 3 or 4 bands that night. I remember, and they all these concerts now are starting to run together because I've gone to so many. But I know I've seen Eli Young band there, and they were young. No pun intended. But it was right when Always a Love Songs was out. That was a big hit. Their big hit back then. But then it was, I think, Charlie and then them. And then there might have been another band, maybe Judge Parker. I can't remember. And then Willie Stradlin came on last. But the funny thing was, I found out later that Charlie was supposed to go on first, but he would party a little bit too much before he got down to Paris, Arkansas. And he had to sleep some of it off to perform. And he still put on a hell of a show. I don't think I've ever met anybody that's seen him in concert say he put on a bad show. And what was funny is my uncle and my aunt were down there. Listening to Willie Stradlin. But like I said, I love Willie Stradlin, but I was more for, Charlie, because that's country. And I'm a big country fanatic. But I was like, man, it'd be cool, so cool to meet Charlie Robison, And I've never met a celebrity before, or a singer. This was when all this was just starting, like I said. Well, my aunt's like, I just go up there. He's right up there at the merch booth. Just go talk to him. Oh, okay. Of course, I was nervous. I wasn't outgoing as I am now. But what the coolest thing is, and I don't know if it's because he was still feeling really good, or he was just a nice guy, but he shook my right hand, and normally people don't do that, which it don't bother me, but it always meant something to me that he shook my right hand, because a lot of people always shake your left hand, but I mean, and I was still, unless I get dementia or something, that will be a memory in my mind till I die. And he signed this hat for me that night, which I showed it to you earlier. I can't really wear it no more because the bill is really bent, but I'm not throwing it away. One thing is, I do not throw anything away that has to do with concerts or music. But anyways, to give you a little background, if you really know who Charlie Robison is, he was born in Houston and grew up in a small town called Bandera, Texas. and he has certainly influenced my songwriting. But like I said, he had a brother, Bruce Robison, which wrote Tonight, which I told you earlier, but also Traveling Soldiers, or Soldier, which the Dixie Chicks came out with years ago. And he was actually married to Emily from the Dixie Chicks. I can't remember which one she is, not the singer, but one of them. But and they were married from May 1999 and divorced in August of 2008. But he came out with 3 live albums and 6 studio albums in a very short period of time, which I wish there was more. I wish he would have made at least one more album. He was just starting to do concerts again, too. But Bandera came out in 1996. I think it was on an independent label because it's not on Spotify or iTunes that I know of. I know it's not on iTunes or Apple Music. But I actually found it at Hastings back when they still had CDs, and when Hastings was open. There's one lonely copy left. And they come out with Life of the Party, and 2 years later, and then he did a live album a couple years after that, or maybe a year later, with Jack Ingram and his brother Bruce. And then he went back and did Step Right Up in 2001. And then he did Live at Green Hall, which is still one of my favorite live albums of all time. And then he did Good Times, which to me is his best album or work to me. And I still think it's one of the best country albums of all time. I mean, they're so good, so good. Then afterwards, he come out with Beautiful Day in 2009. Then he did a live at Billy Bob's, Texas in 2013. And what I loved about that, he did an Elton John song, and he did a Skinner song, and he did it good and, his way. And then the last album he came out with is called High Life, and that was more of a covers album. He didn't really write any of those songs as songs that other people had written, but he did really good on. Like I said, and he didn't have a lot of hits, only one big hit, and he had a few top 100s, but, to me, that's not what makes a good artist, In his short career, he had 12 singles and 7 music videos, and I think, now I looked it up, now I don't know, because I don't really trust Wikipedia all that much, but I know a video that CMT played for a long time, and a lot was El Cerrito Place, which was actually written by Keith Gaddis, and he sadly passed away in a car crash about a year or two ago, maybe not even a year ago. He also wrote Big City Blues. So if you don't know who Keith Gaddis is, look him up. He did a lot of songs on the Good Times album are either written or co-written by Keith Gaddis. And that's what I love about some artists, is some artists are mainly songwriters and they write their own stuff, but then you get Charlie and other people, but people like Charlie that do their own stuff, but also do other people's songs, covers. And like I said, but El Cerrito Place is such a beautiful, sad song, and I love it. I love all his stuff. I also got to meet him another time. I remember years later, maybe 4 or 5 years later down the road, him, Cody Canada from Ragweed, it was still Ragweed, I'm pretty sure it's still Ragweed at the time, and Chris Knight were doing an acoustic tour, and there's only like 6 or 7 dates, and luckily one of them was at George's Majestic Lounge in Fayetteville, which is about 2 hours from my house. I was like, I'm going, when it was tornado season. I don't like tornadoes. I still don't like tornadoes. I do a lot better now, but I don't like them. Anyways, and there was a little bit of bad weather, could be possibly bad weather. I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna go see, Charlie, Cody, and Chris. Well, sure enough, that night, but I had such a good time, and I was so drunk, that it never did bother me. The weather never bothered me. But it was funny, I called a buddy of mine, and years later he told me, when I called him that night, there were tornado warnings where I was, and he goes, but I didn't say nothing to you because I didn't want you to get scared. So I just passed out and went to bed. But like I said, I met him again. Just a quick, I wish I would have not been as nervous. But I mean, it was who I was back then. I've worked on that a lot. I'm not, now I'll go up and talk to anybody. But the sad part is, he announced his retirement in 2018. He had a vocal surgery done. I think Bolin had the same surgery too, but his went great. And he couldn't really sing. He was unable to sing. And so he announced his retirement because of that. And then in 2022, last year, he started booking shows again. So I don't know if there was ever an album in the works, and there may be, we don't know. Or if there's any songs in the works or unearthed songs or, that we don't know about. But it was a shock. I mean, sudden. I mean, like, I don't think it was like they knew anything was going to happen. They're just happy, just one of them, not really accident, but freak accidents or whatever. I don't know. But like I said, rest in peace, Charlie Robinson. Your music will live forever, and you have influenced many, 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 and I think you'll influence people from years from now. I said he was one of the best songwriters, had one of the best voices for country music. And like, he was always down to party, I think, and, just a good time. Hence, but like I said, rest in peace, Charlie Robinson. I hope you and Keith Gaddis are singing up in heaven. See y'all later. Oh, and this is Eric with Aspiring Music Writer. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Aspiring, ASPIRING, Music Writer. Share, like, comment, suggest, and I'll see y'all later.